about the Get Fund. You know, this person who is the running mate to Baumia was the Minister of Education. This person who was the running mate to Baumia, was the Minister of Education. He brought a bond to Parliament called Dachi Bond. And he said that the Dachi Bond was going to be used to fast-track educational infrastructure. The projects that they said they were coming to fast-track and finish are still standing there, unfinished. So how did they apply that money? And so people have questions to answer. We're going to audit how that Dachi Bond money was used. So, Baumia has his own cross to carry. He shouldn't go saying Baumia is incorruptible or is not corrupt. He himself, that running mate, has questions to answer.
Na NAPO Obianim and John Mahama me say no person be wasting the time on NAPO because NAPO level of intelligence na form. But Bibintina ye the ensa kire ma me fia na yesa de aka na kire ye ho. Bibinti ena de bia no ye de ensa we e kire ma me fie. John Mahama said NAPO was sending message akoma NAPO into NAPO ntie. O se wo NAPO John Mahama kan brofo so amefo na bidwudwum. O se wo NAPO we a candidate for jail. Obanyansafo asem na o kan na bidwudwum kakran ma wate ase.
Whenever I say PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo
talk about, and it's got to do with a year. Asama John Dramani Mahama aka momenti.
Recently, they did a charade. The vice president went to Techiman. A young nursing trainee said, "I came to this school 3 years ago. I'm in my final year. I'm writing my exams next week. I haven't received alawa." And he said, "Oh." I don't know. I have to ask the finance minister. How did you know that alawa has been in arrears for 30 months? 30 months. If you are the vice president and you didn't know that nursing trainees and teacher trainees for 30 months had not received the allowance, then you didn't deserve to be vice president. Because it was one of your core promises. It was a major plank of your campaign. You called myself a wicked person because I cancelled trainee allowances. And it isn't that we cancelled it. We were substituting it with a student loan. And said, look, we want more of you to come into the school, but we restrict it because of the size of the allowance. So let's give you student loans like all other tertiary students so that we can now invest in building more hospitals and more schools so that when you come out, you can get jobs to do. And they called us wicked. And he said, when they come, we will pay their allowances. And you know both of them slangs. We will pay the allowances. We can't pay the allowances. Alakwato. We can pay the allowances. Today, people have finished their colleges, people have finished nursing training, and they are owed 20-something months of allowances, and they will never get that money. And aside from that, they've come out of school, and for more than 4 batches, they have not been employed. And you know what they do? They wait till elections are coming, then they say we've opened the recruitment portal. They've been sitting home for 4 years, 5 years. And then just because elections are coming, 3 months to an election, you say you've opened the recruitment portal. You see, all about this government is deception. And nothing is...
2014, 15, 16, the campaign message was that ye per se bedia ba mu ne tia alawama mu nyina 2014 and ankwasiafo started ye the day Alakpatos. These Alakpatos, they started making noise. Alakpatonians. These MPP Alakpatonians, they started making noise. The Mahama, on Pemasem, Mahama, on Pesobema Muska, Mahama Semunya would say, Obeso see more schools into or upgradimo, Namosmako Gilon, Yantiasia, and these political Alakpatonians, they lined up like political chicken, and almost stage by stage, and Jimmy. Mahamudu Baomia from 2012, 13, 14, 15. The Okache nurse for you and say, ba one day, Alawakran, you bet consistently. Yes, Saba, you bet see schools, you bet see hospitals, Naman Jumaye from a year NLM, a year Akoto, a year Bafwa Koto time based in the MPPC hospital or Ghana. Now you're nurse in Yabusa, who say, nurse in the better was a nurse in Juma or dancing. What was a nurse in a Juma or kitchen da? Nurse near Juma Hospital. A buying from 1832 Bessia on see one hospital. Sabino or Dada for these are Alakpatonians who are ingrates. 2013, 2014, Yaba Betialawa, Obiabejalawa, Ebeba, Yabetum. Recently, na Mahama kasa akurabi kitikiti Beshia said, Mesumi was school. Matra nursing school 4 years, mi bekofie. Mensanka Lawa Bako, Alakpatonia Bako say, oh. True. Oh, we have been paying about 13 months. The Alakpatonian lizard, the Alakpatonian Agama said, then I'm going to tell the accountant general, these Alakpatonians, these liars, these political Alakpatonians, be very careful. And consistently, their Alakpatonian statements, their Alakpatonian attitudes, their Alakpatonian their behavior, the tendencies, big because I'm going to say Ghana for Jimmy. So when you see one Alakpatonian, you see another Alakpatonians. When they come together, they become multitude of Alakpatonians. These are criminals and liars. And the nurse for Busa say, Omalawa Wayne. This is the reality. So at this point, Sabaomiaka say, did that or a campaign so betia alawana and the ose onima Baomia kotre or pomponi. He is an Alakpatonian gizzard, and I ever saying Alakpatonian agama. He's an agamanalian Alakpatonian. Baomia kotra on kanokre or ye agamanalian Alakpatonian. On tibrofo ye can now what it will be. The NPP flag bearer is an Agamalanian, Alakpatonian, or Yakutra on Kanukre, Kutre Pomponi on Kanukre. These are Alakpatonians. And let's get serious. This is not a joke. And John Mahama Kachamno, you are not supposed to fall for these lies. Again, these are all like deception. It's a government that is built out of lies. The NPP, JJ Rollins Kachremo, omu change omudin every 10 years. Omu change omu colors every 10 years. Omu change omu leaders every 10 years. Omu change omu baby omu free cry every 10 years. The NPP is a dangerous entity. It was built out of Alakpatonian. It is built out of lies, deception, criminality. Ubusom sa party no, dia na mujina so tia, yes ye nananom. Ukobusa ye nananom question adani asem wabo bidua. Party ni roots. Party ni focus, party ni vision, ni aim. The party was built to please a few people who thought to say, Ghana no, omunkwa baby omotise nkotre. That is not how you build a party. A political party should be accepting every single breed. A political party should be open enough for everyone to be comfortable around that party. A political party should not be centered on some people's personal sentiments and personal feelings and greed. When you form that, it is not a political party, it is a tribal entity. It is an Alakpatonian group, a group of lies. We've
costed it, and we approximate that for all first year students in public tertiary institutions, it should cost anywhere between 270 to about 290 million Ghana cedis. Let me tell you something. The president, a few years ago, his travel budget for traveling in 9 months amounted to 69 million Ghana cedis. They held one cabinet retreat at the presidency, one cabinet retreat. You know how much it cost? It cost almost 5 million Ghana cedis for a cabinet retreat. There is so much waste in the system. And even if you look at the Office of President budget alone, you'll be able to cut to raise enough money to pay fees, academic facility user fees for all level 100 students. Because that thing you see there, when you go to Accra, the building, it's called the Office of the President. You know the budget, 2 billion cedis every year. 2 billion cedis. It's even now that IMF has come, they've cut it down. At a point, it used to be 3-point-something billion cedis every year. And you say, we can't find 270 million cedis to ease the fee stress of our students who are coming first year into university. I think that it can be done. And it is constitutional. Because let me read the constitutional provision to you. Just the same way free SHS was done. It says here in Article 25 of the 1992 Constitution, it says that higher education shall be made equally accessible to all on the basis of capacity by any appropriate means, and in particular by progressive introduction of free education at the tertiary level. It's here. It's in the Constitution. So just absorbing those fees, I think that we can do it by cutting down on waste and cutting down on corruption. We spent $58 million to dig a pit, the most expensive pit in the world. $58 million could have more than paid the fees of all first years. And so it can be done, and we'll do it. The next issue is about the GET Fund. You know, this person who is the running mate to Baumia was the Minister of Education. This person who was the running mate to Baumia, who is the running mate to Baumia, was the Minister of Education. He brought a bond to Parliament called Dachi Bond. And he said that the Dachi Bond was going to be used to fast-track educational infrastructure. And so all the GET Fund projects that were going on in your campuses, in the secondary schools, they were going to use that money to fast-track them and finish them. They even said that they were going to use that money to complete the E-blocks that had not been completed. Now, it has led to a collateralization of the GET Fund. So this year, total receipts from the GET Fund should amount to about 7 billion cedis. About 4 billion of that was taken in the Dachi Bond by NAPO and his Ministry of Education. Tell me, what was that money used for? The projects that they said they were coming to fast track and finish are still standing there unfinished. So how did they apply that money? And so people have questions to answer. We're going to audit how that Dachi Bond money was used. So Baumia has his own cross to carry. He shouldn't go saying Baumia is incorruptible or is not corrupt. He himself, that running mate, has questions to answer. So he should think about himself. And so that is the state at which they have mortgaged your fees.
Mahama has said it clearly. In some you know Mahama aka yebejum na asabni nyina no so am force Mahama ka say bu ha yente wasamunya botre onse Mahama oka Ghana brofo enye kura mutumi ti ase kakra ba aka say ebe flow everywhere Interplus go water go flow everywhere Kevin Taylor and Loud Silence TV go you know say water there explanation go flow inti dwedwemu go flow the Mahama kenyina no start free esoro na oka say and the NDC4 e de abetu dwa asama ye start ye di ho abobo apepe na ye chirichiri magana for atiase na nyina efa eye NDC4 e de abetu dwa say eye 2025 akwara bi obefri senior high school bi ewura eye de university public university no first year 12 months no sa akwara no because aban no enim se first year no unya access to loan because loan no eba from second year third year and a fourth year into NDC are buying from 2019 almost suggest here sanka NPP for ni munyansa na omunya alakpatorians anka omuji tumu omude ba parliament no mbotugu ye but Mahama say Ghana mebunu enkwara amobeko university edena koma so Professor na no poku agman so say saade we de ose ye eni tina o say Mahama kind constitution e kire say ye ka free education enye primary enye JSS enye SS nkwa o eye tertiary university kan no e ka ho enti ebe pene ebe ye say enkwara no mobeko first year 2025 no sa first year for no munya access to loan no sa enkwara no o say aban efa ho ka na o chechire mu no o say nipa bi enenam Ghana na o mo ka say ai na Mahama go fasika we no say ekura ya tim oba president nkwa office president omo so omo ye cabinet retreat so amefo ye ka say bibi the cabinet retreater Mahama say Ghana for person mu adekudie ntia ye bre ene adekudie ntia Ghana ye sika sem nyina say a eye alakpatorians we no sa kronfo we no they are consuming too much expenditure no omo disika Mahama say uche na nadu anko Akufo-Addo aban mu nko a Akufo-Addo say of reference ministers some ye cabinet meeting na omo to me spend 5 million Ghana minim say ye kra jantra for free Spain ba eba cabinet meeting na say e me chemo mo bom gala dia minim meeting a omo ya eye cabinet retreat keke omo to me spend $5 million ebi omo de jantra for free eye de eye Cyrus and I say Peru e de ba e na omo be cheguso o si adekudie ntia eye Akufo-Addo mo ka say Mahama ntumi nya no si sasika say we nyina no obetwa ni nyina mu cause infaso ni so o si hwe oba Nana Danko Akufo-Addo akwentu nko a otu ye bosome nkono pe Nana Danko Akufo-Addo spend sika eye poly 69 million almost 3.5 million pounds na akwentu na otu no ya kraja ntra for free Nicaragua mo megu play mu ne ko because Jimmy for we so person odware wo wiem sa sika we nyina Mahama semfa so ni so a e wo se president o se atechede ese no o se hwe adekudie ntia se o mo ba power 2025 o metima ene se sa nkwasia 69 million we no enya de o no obeso so sa nkwasia sem so sa sika ne tia ye betumi de ahwenkwara no first year no school bibi ti se eye de office of the president ye se Akufo-Addo Mahama say the office workeke osore anopa na onum wi na obetena ho na osare kofia sika omo say no ho it is around 2 billion afibia buso omo say office of the president omo ye phone no wo ho ana say well there's the go na omo so ndade de omo ye wo ho ana say omo te wonum wi no jot jantra fo be sere omo ko na sebio nkwasiafo bi omo say green say omo ko church nyoma Facebook eno na omo ye no ho and so every 12 months omo spend it over 2 billion. Mahama says Sasika say we nyina faso bi edi so. Sasika we nke betuma ate e de ahwe nkwara ndien e wo school. Mahama saka o say enye time say ate o man mu. Na nkwasiafo bi abedi eso say omakotu amena donko say eye cathedral. Sa amena donko no say wo steady pa I to say eye latrine pita e wo Vietnam. O say nke enjimi ya eye de na sankofo etam Ghana sika $58 million. Ekotu amena say nyankopon KVIP inti nyame eyem kana ombeja ne naiwom Mahama masa sasika say we nyina nyansanim inti so ka say omubetumi ahwe nkwara no etua first year na omubetumi efise sasika we nyina akọ waste inti Mahama say se obi gina baby ka kire wo say na NDC for say omo de omo ba nkwara no be university first no public university no omo nyina omo ntua fees no Mahama say there's money The money is there, and you are seeing the cockroaches spend the money into Obenya power with the aid and advice of Air Professor Nano Pokwajiman Obianim se Najrimu Dono. They will make sure that they will divert that money and move it into the education of young people in the tertiary in the first year. Tie John Mahama nka say enkwara mobeko university no obehwe mu nyina mo makowie o see afiba ko edo manimu ayem first year no sa first year no omunya access to loan. Also tell say university student bia no e wo access to loan abanma loan from second year. Sa first year no amafo bebre to be university no mo jai if you said yo mo bedi bebi omo beda send your ombeko class send your ombe ye e de aduane kakra bi edi akotogo be kura por edin sa time no na aban e wo so otiem na oya den oboa sa awofo no 2019 na NDC for ede eye bill called parliament say omo pese 2021 omo pese Ghana aban ye kufu ado aban omo so omo na free SHS ya omo beto ye omo agi apem so no ayarega oya NDC ka say mo na mo wa ban mu ade na mo mmoa ye free covid mu aba first year students ade na mo mboa MPP for nyina called parliament including Oseche Mensa Bonsu ka say omo nye. It's from 2021. Some Kwarana Munyako University be drop it out because some first year no manya access to loan. Some first year Omafu Yesikano, some Kwarani MPP for to stop you from getting better education. This is the same MPP Omakacha Omo Dogana, Omni Free SHS Aba. Obi se men ko 4 years in see. Sa first year no to amomo NPP for about parliament kasa omon pene. And this is what actually happened. Time NDC for the parliament votes against Ayaraga's motion for absorption of 2021 tertiary fees. Na Ayaraga any NDC for put the almost say sa 2021 and you me ding. Into mo de se mo mpese mo be to aso kura mo me 2021 nko ama nkwara no ene awofo no NPP fo nyina ka se o mo nye ema kojo pon kroma ene eye MPP fo nyina eto aba e ka se o mo mpene NDC fo nyina to aba se o mo pese o mo boa Ghana awofo ene nkwara se ne be ya first year MPP fo nyina obi ya ka se o mpene Emma kojo pon kroma gina parliament e ka kire Ghana fo nyina se ono ene ne MPP fo no enya ade o mo be pene da Emma yeyi ekufo ado Ghana sika e de ahwe Ghana mebunu a omotumi ra university just 1 year na omo eko omonim no omaji loan opon kroma gina parliament e kan.
So Mr. Speaker, in terms of being clear and specific, my humble opinion is that this motion doesn't meet the test. In terms of legality, even asking a president to suspend the implementation of LI, I think 2216, is a matter that, in my humble view, flies in the face of legality. In terms of not being discriminatory, this motion, as it stands currently, discriminates against students of private tertiary institutions. And in terms of best practice, Mr. Speaker, as I've mentioned earlier, things like fiscal impact analysis, etc., are not included. So, Mr. Speaker, in terms of being clear and specific, my humble opinion is that this motion doesn't meet the test. In terms of legality, even asking a president to suspend the implementation of LI, I think 2216, is a matter that, in my humble view, flies in the face of legality. In terms of not being discriminatory, this motion, as it stands currently, discriminates against students of private tertiary institutions. And in terms of best practice, Mr. Speaker, as I've mentioned earlier, things like fiscal impact analysis, etc., are not included as it stands. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, it is a good thing that we all acknowledge now, despite the earlier comments, that it was populist, it was a cheap approach. It's a good thing that we all acknowledge now that reliefs for Ghanaians should be done at a time like this. And I encourage my colleague to keep on this path. I'm happy we're on this path. But, Mr. Speaker, this motion as it stands, to the extent that it appears to say, because we have voted some monies for COVID-19, it should be able to cover all of these things, when we know those monies were for specific purposes. And B, Mr. Speaker, because in my mind, these basic pillars that must be met as a test are not met, myself and I believe a good number of my colleagues will not be able to support this motion as it currently stands. Pillars that must be met as a test. Because, in my mind, these basic pillars that must be met as a test are not met, myself and I believe a good number of my colleagues will not be able to support this motion as it currently stands.
Tina MPP for argument omo yen say na yebema Ghana for enkwara mu free senior high school, free SHS, Almora University, Tech, Legon, first year, NDC for say yema aban enti omu fees. Na omu ko second and third and fourth year, oma jilo no. Kojo upon kroma ka say, oh, na omu so omu ko private university say, omu de adentina aban nyema omu nti omu mpene. Time a MPP for starting free SHS. Yati krom ha, and a private senior high school for beka say, mo emfa omunka free SHS no. Send ye beya equities at the end of the day, yen yina ho be hinhaye. MPP for catch the private senior high school operators in some abodam. Recently, John Mahama beka say onya akwenya no be president. It is very important imperative say private senior high school for no ye di omo beka free senior high school no ho. If you say omai na ye chichire, there can be a different way. There can be different ways they almost so approach, you know. Sebia government the entity a bit might different, but they will all fall under the free SHS. NPP for sorry the John Mahama tem. And John Mahama essay says San Kora we almost school see many omokase. So ya Korana wo school see SS Upeso University. Now would you this ubecha? Now with him say 2025 Ubewura University Tech Ubewura Legon. Sao pesa Ubewura University first year abra untua kapra to ma John Mahama. Because NPP for din kan ka kire say omo mpene. Who video na bochire no almost record ne da ho almost said there is no way akwara bi obewura university next year omo bema akwara no first year no omo meka say awofo no omo say emfa omo ho ma awofo no nkopɛ sika bibi omenye bia also wote ase ura Legon ura Teka saa first year no edin papa saa first year no edin papa mo final year mo second year mo first year this so why this obeko university nko dia make sure say NDC aba power make sure say wakoto abama John Mahama ne Professor Nana make sure say wasa to ama NDC MP obetena parliament agimranatum because so to abanema John Mahama nko akoye president na yeko parliament na MPP for the doors share NDC for na MPP for mo mpene inti very important o senior high school student oh SS TMO ni etumo for pain muntieme especially my way address mo pese mo to school so tertiary mo pese mo to so muntieme na atrofo we no madada mo beduru hanne and the school amotie aduane kura munya bindi classrooms mo da wosem ponchi and aduane amudi mo amunum se aduane ne nye enso aban ne ka kire Ghana for se aduane ne ye mo classmates for the be ewu because of food poisoning. NDC for say to make things easy for you, senior high school, ube free SHS no, o time we draw, ube free. Na so free SHS ni mua, ya wone wonyame. And the when your NDC for catch say, you beso wasene. Mema kwa siebia nadao. This is the time oko ballot na you are voting for your future. Nurse if one yes I mistake ribi and then some more aunties, more sisters, more brothers in yati fie because bawumia be dada omo betwa atroto omo so say omo betua alawa na emba into wa senior high school and na adwime na wo kasa so why you so beto so nko akọ university a mo awofo no mo na wo sa mo frɛ mo mba ne ka kire omo say akwasi so officer ko university ni dia to my NDC o if say so ko wura ho a no mo ko bo 30,000 Ghana 50,000 Ghana opa amena otiasa nkrigwa no onye bi ma. The only time ubetumi make sure when you school no and say abana aso wasene MPP so omonye NDC so omobeye enti mo awofo no na mo mfra mo ma no because SHS ye be wie na nzia ye wie a de aka no eyemo mwanya aban bi ba mwanya aban bi se onemo eto nchia 2025 akwara bi obewura aban university bia ne first year and then more ding. The first year a free, second year obeji loan, third year obeji loan, fourth year obeji loan. I will follow ya catch them. Memo bianco dan hons ambeka embeka se any TO and ya catch them on ne. Sanko 4 way alakatonians way omi a true 4 and these MPP 4 ya true 4. Munina munim Ghana kwara won ne kra ngen nim se ba omi anka no kre. Na na dodan kwekufo ado munim nkwasiade a wabeye ende koko ana mo nido so se mu wie school a momba ne benyini na mo twa bi e de ahwe momba no koko no ekufo ado ne galamsey chema wuntumi eye NPP4 oma se koko e wo Ghana nyina efu ana moni da so say akwara no be ko school mokoye no baka kra e de abehwe akwara no school no and the MPP the galamsey asay mo efu nyina MPP ni ndwiri wuo free SHS no obewie nansen ya ka kire wo maame awofo so nka kire wo mma said this is the time, so it is not a joke. It is not a joke. Sa MPP for in kind of credit near to Kroma and a private senior high school for no more can Emma MPP for the matem say I and young would see some of some kakaimo make kakaimo but John Mahama can yoma mienu. Thank you Nkoto. I appreciate this. John Mahama can yoma mienu. The second one on efa NAPO na NAPO obi anim. And na John Mahama me say no person be wasting the time on NAPO because NAPO level of intelligence na form but bibintina ye de ensa kire ma me fia na yesa de aka na kire ye ho bibinti ena de bia no ye de ensa we kire ma me fie John Mahama said NAPO was sending message akoma NAPO into NAPO ntie o se wo NAPO John Mahama kan brofo so amefo na bidwudwum o se wo NAPO we a candidate for jail obanyansafo asem na okan na midwudwum kakran ma wate ase John Mahama say wo NAPO and what was said oh baomia de onya kromfo John Mahama say se baomia kromfo onya kromfo ono anka se obeso ade cross Mahamudu baomia nanim kro no awabo John Mahama say dwene wo ho wankasa no dwene kro no awabo na ende okachire da po se NAPO okay time na we education minister wodi bibia your friend dachi bond ba parliament say sa dachi bond no o pese wugi sika gum na schools ayensi ye eye education nyoma nyina wodi sa sika na edisa adwuma ni nyina ntentem wo NAPO e-blocks aka so be complete ni nyina wodi dachi bond ba parliament say yemfa sika ngum ma no wugi sa sika no wo NAPO sika eda get fund mu a sa sika na eye about 7 billion o de sa dachi bond no ebeji mu 4 billion egogu dachi bond nim John Mahama say obusa wo time our education minister no time sa sika no be kan won san de na ode ye o se ukoda bompa ye ma wo ho o se de wo NAPO ukoda bompa ye ma wo ho because okwasea na se ye de na ye ndeme John Mahama etufu o se wankasa wo to keka wo to soso o se obusa wo say dachi bond sika na ekogu mu na we education minister no juma poti ben na ode ye bie commission investigations na ye kase be chire receipt a wo betuma kire o se kwasea na se ye de ye na ye ndeme John Mahama mu afutuo pa wo de wagiminti o kasa by heart ba omia de manso ane cross o na wangasa wo cross no betuma asoa wagiminti na e wo se wo ba omia eya wo NAPO wuti asese accountability awaits obanyansafo kasara John Mahama no kan or say you will have to come and account for that bond no sika no dwuma be na wudidi ye why wo hwene se tingalingaling ena udi nkwasiafo echi na omsori a that bond a free for bond kwame dinkra bond ena mudi mujimi di echire mujimi nti emredu ni ebusa kwehansa ye behwe de ne papa ye de hye because me ye wo me no me hu se de hye bia kuta certificate say me certificate a chese be de hye ni ya no ne de ka me say NAPO emre du na se ye so pa o de hye na amwa wo because since me see so me hu se obi nam Ghana wabobo pepa hye de to say oh me de hye hwe me de hye certificate ebi ni ho obi ano enti obi a ye de hye enti the better for you no accountability awaits you tingalingaling wagiminti sankwasiafo obe yuzu se bola bet obanyansafo yebuni be yen kana sem ye dwudwam abosan 721 mo be 9 more minutes na mama Ghana fo ehu de ekọ mesa ato asomiwie.
We'll also launch the No Fee Stress Initiative, providing fee-paying support to eligible students, especially through the Student Loan Trust Fund. The reintroduction of a quota system has reduced admissions across both nursing and teacher training sectors, restricting entry for many youth who desire to train as teachers and nurses. We deplore the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia administration's practice of opening the recruitment portal only when elections are coming. We will implement a policy of continuous recruitment of teachers and nurses, especially for the underserved areas. The next NDC government pledges to abolish the teacher licensure exam. We will make teacher licensing a part of the final year program in colleges of education. The John and Jane administration will implement strategies to address teacher accommodation challenges, especially in rural areas, offering incentives to encourage them to accept postings to underserved areas.
Welcome back to the show. You have about to be film. We mama Jimmy. Messi Bawumia message ni saying, "I say 1 city, 1 Ghana, 1 city, 2 city, 1 city, 2 city." Munim de besi. Also 1 anti Ghana he nyina aprona tabe mu a ontumi nka asem papa bia. 1 city, 2 city, 1 city, 2 city. Bawumia message ni saying, "Ubu say MPP for." And I send this phone message. Hey, Otrin, go on the ground. You go here. Otrin. So what's steady? I social media. I'm more time pa no support to MPP. And I don't steady here. And I don't hear. Yo nipa kuobi oho. Omo kasa edi social media. Dia or TikTok. Omo support to MPP no more time. And I don't steady. They look dirty. They are dirty people. But ejimi for the bakwa betwe.
Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV. I see say a lot of people are moving from the traditional media to the social media. And PENDREAM, you are setting the pace because you bring the issues as they are. And the those are the issues. And then Unipa are not ready for just ordinary endorsement. But people want to hear the issues. What are the issues? What are the possible solutions? So for me, I'm endorsing PENDREAM TV. And I'm recommending, say, Obi Biana who feels traditional media and why you're bored with it, I'm going to live up to expectation. Your next last stop, PENDREAM TV.